Welcome back to Undefendable. I am kicking it here with Charlie. What's up, Charlie?
Hi.
Hey. So Charlie
Hey.
is a very seasoned and good player. He plays a lot of games, so I figured who better to have in here for a 2026 tier list. We did add all of the new characters in here. We have games under our belts. We have some data with Carnex, which I'll explain really quickly. And I don't think there's going to be any heroes or characters that are coming out before 2027. So we're really leaning into this as the tier list for 2026 if you wanted to play competitively or play the better heroes or just have fun at locals. Charlie, explain what Carnex is really quickly. I have it up on my screen over here on the left, but just kind of give everyone like a quick rundown so when you're referencing it, people aren't like, what the heck's he talking about?
Sure. So Carnix is a data collection software or website rather. It takes games that are played in the Freehawks server and it records them and it records the win-loss ratio of heroes. It records your win-loss ratio. In total, it records your win-loss ratio with each hero. It just has all these data points. It's got tens of thousands of games. So well, it's not perfect, and I don't agree with it all of the time. It is the most accurate example of what each hero's total win rate is over a long, stretch of games.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and so basically, yeah, to Charlie's point, it just basically keeps the data of all games that are being played and then tries to rank who the best players are based on the current seasons. I believe it also tracks local events. So if you're going to locals, make sure that your people at locals are inputting the data. But based on that statistics, there's a heroes tab in here as well that has all of the games, all of the win rates, all of the pick rates, all of the ban rates for to a certain extent that we can kind of track off of as we're riffing this thing down. So that said, yeah, we're gonna make a tier list and we're gonna hop right in. So first up, Charlie, you can see my screen on the right, yeah?
Yes, I can.
All right, so I'll let you. We'll just do this as a fun like let's pick and go from there. I do have Carnux up on the left, so it kind of has like a little bit of some spoiler alerts, but we may not agree with what's on the left or what Carnux says. However, it's probably going to be pretty accurate to the most part.
For
But I'll
sure.
let you pick the first hero. What are you thinking?
I think Black Widow's gonna go in F tier. Terrible
Yep.
character. No,
Oh,
just kidding.
totally agree.
Black Widow is the strongest character in the game. It makes my life miserable. I hate seeing it on the other side. If I'm ever at ranked play, it's an auto ban. I don't care what heroes I have. It has nearly a 60% win rate on Carnix over 6,000 games, and it disgusts me.
That's a pretty good estimate. I think Black Widow is virtually. I don't want to say an autopilot hero, but it has all the tools
Definitely
to
not.
do
Yeah.
everything really good. It scales really well. It can uh, create defensive scenarios where it's mitigating damage early game to get to its scaled late game and just completely run you over. Um, is there a counter to Black Widow?
Is there a counter to Black Widow? Well, I wouldn't say there's a counter, but you have some matchups that are okay. Like
A
Cursed
coin
Pirate
flip.
is, and yeah, Cursed Pirate's a decent matchup into it. Ninja, I mean Shadow Thief, Gambit, Raveness, maybe some Headless and Alchemist, maybe. So I would say there is no counter to it, but there are certain heroes that you can take and be okay with it.
Yeah, and just to get a little bit more data out of the Carnex app, you can actually click on the hero's information and you can see win rates, pick rates, matches, etc. Who plays them the most. But also if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the quote unquote best pick and win rates and worst picks and lose rates to this specific hero. So to Charlie's point, Black Widow, worst case scenario is a coin flip into maybe three, maybe four of these other heroes, which is Curse Pirate, Ninja, Shadow Thief, and Gambit. After that, it's a 60-40, virtually, if not better, with every other matchup. So I would say Black Widow is definitely one of the top, if not the
Yes,
top hero in the game.
absolutely.
All right. Well, that said, let's get a little bit frisky here. I'm going to go down to. Let's do Necromancer. I feel
Hmm.
like Necromancer is interesting because I do think if piloted well, Necromancer can be very troublesome. What I will say, though, in a competitive setting, I do not think the Necromancer really stands on any firm ground. I would maybe put him in high C, low B tier at best, simply because he lacks a lot of card draw, and he needs time to scale, and a lot of these better heroes are just going to be able to run him down if the matchup isn't good. I do think he's a sneaky bring three ban one hero, but I wouldn't necessarily put him in my crew unless I knew what my locals was bringing and the matchups that were going into that. But what's your take on that?
I would agree with C tier. Maybe top of C tier, maybe. I think the problem is that he has no economy and his defense is not very strong, and he just does not is not beating a lot of the S tier characters today. So I would agree with C.
Yep. I think right in the C, and he's gonna, like you said, he's gonna lose to a lot of these S tiers. Right, Black Widow, Forgemaster, Spider-Man, Iceman. They're just with a lack of defense and no economy to protect himself. He does have the end game or the reviving. I forget the name of the token.
I
Um,
actually don't play Necro, so I can't remember it, but it's like,
it's
oh,
like
it's
the
so
revival
embarrassing.
one where he comes back as a husk with no cards, no CP, and you
Yeah,
can sometimes roll that into more opportunities. But yeah, I would put Necromancer at high C if I were to make this list today. So I'll let you pick
I would
next,
agree.
Charlie. What you got?
Let's see. I am going to go ahead and go for. Hmm. Let's go for Ravenous. I like Ravenous.
Okay, Ravenous. I like it. I like it. Where is she? There she is. Where you got
Ravenous
her?
is going to be stuck in S tier.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, Ravenous has everything. Ravenous has card draw. Ravenous can make you discard cards. Ravenous can siphon health from you. Ravenous can dodge your defense. Ravenous can steal your CP. Ravenous can make you not have any sixes be rolled. Ravenous just has so many answers to so many different problems, and for that reason, she is S tier.
I would also say Ravenous really only has one, maybe two bad matchups, right? Like her only
Yes.
obvious bad matchup is Black Panther.
Yes,
That's the
correct. Do we need to explain why?
Yeah, yeah, ultimately Black Panther has a kinetic energy token where every time you get hit with damage, isolated or not, you get a kinetic energy. And every
Hmm.
peck that Nevermore does is a one source of isolated damage, so Black Panther can continually build up kinetic energy every single time Nevermore is pecking him. So outside of Black Panther, which is why Black Panther's kind of had a resurgence, just simply to avoid the Raveness dodge or the Raveness matchup. But outside of Black Panther, Raveness has pretty coin flipped matchups into almost every hero, which I think is why she finds herself in the S tier.
Absolutely. I want you to imagine Black Panther as, a young bird being fed by his mother, kinetic energy, and imagine that as a meme. Ravenous just feeds him kinetic energy the entire game, and it is very, very hard to win that matchup. And right now, it's sitting at a 72% win rate for Black Panther on Cardix, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
disgusting.
And I agree with that. And actually, a cool thing I'm just realizing with Carnix is when you open the application on the hero, it kind of gives you their attributes, which you just explained really well, like durability, disruption, agency, economy, ease of play, offensive abilities. She's above 5 on all of them, which means she's above average on
Hmm.
everything, and even 7 plus on 4 of the 6 things here, which is really strong. So,
Absolutely.
um,
All right, your turn. What you picking?
all right, let's pick. I'm gonna go with a fresh face because I really enjoy this character. I'm gonna go with the Duelist, and I think I might get some eye rolls here, but I am gonna put him at low A in my opinion.
Whoa!
Low A, um, and I'm gonna explain why. In the proper matchup, right? You got to imagine you're looking at this thing as a bring three ban one, right? And if I just pick Duelist and you could pick from any hero, Duelist isn't going to do really well. But if it's a bring three ban one and you have a matchup that feeds the aggressive play of the Duelist, he does have um, some ways to do better or do worse, but I really enjoy him as just one of the aggressive heroes. Now, is he a Pyromancer esque aggro hero? I would say possibly. And I know that's not what Charlie thinks, but when it comes to offense, when it comes to ease of use, and when it comes to agency, I do think he has the ability to rush down some heroes, regardless of the win rate. I also think the win rates on some of these new Vanguard heroes are going to be slightly lower because people are learning the matchups and how to play into them. But this is just my hot take. What's your hot take?
For sure. So I would certainly disagree. I can see on Carnix that he is in nearly the bottom 10% of win rate at 40%. I do think that, to your point, you're absolutely right that as time goes on, people will learn how to play him more and pilot him better. So it's very possible that that win rate is skewed to the lower end. I definitely would not put him F. I don't think that he is one of the worst heroes. I would put him in C.
Above Necromancer?
No.
Below
No.
Nec? Oh man,
I would put him at the bottom of C at the very, very, very best.
poor guy. I
Yeah,
I
I'm not
enjoy
not
aggressive
not
playstyle.
a
I think if you're going first and you have Duelist and you're playing someone who doesn't have damage mitigation,
mhm,
like agility
sure.
or ninja smoke bomb, like if they don't
Mhm,
have like this crazy way to reduce your damage, you can sometimes run down some of these top
for
even like
sure. Yeah,
Raveness. He does really good
yeah.
in a Raveness, right? So it's like I don't know. I think we're split here. I'd probably have them in A or B personally, but if you're having them in C ish, I think we'll land in B together. We'll meet in middle ground, low B.
I'll meet you in the middle. I do think that there's a chance that we are not privy to all of the strategies with this character, and that as time goes on, people will learn how to play him better. I do think, to play devil's advocate, he is a very simple character, and there's not a lot to learn about him. He's a little bit Gambit-esque in that he can do that, like 11 damage per turn, pretty consistently with his, you know, stance ability. So I think that as time goes on, there's a small chance that in the deep future he might be a B. So I'll give it to you.
All right. I like it. Yeah, I mean, he can do 11 plus damage with the potential of disarming almost every turn, right? So like there is a threat there. There is opportunity there. But A was aggressive. I mostly said A just to get under your skin a little bit, but I think low
That was
B. I think low B is
woo.
good. You're up.
All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go for.
Carnex disagrees with me. He has him ranked 40th.
Yeah, I think that if it were just Carnix, it would put him at C or F. I do think that Carnix isn't always right, and I'm
True,
okay with
true.
putting him a little higher. Let's go with Shadow Thief. Let's just go along the lines of keep the pattern of S tier characters. So
Yep,
obviously S tier.
yep.
Shadow Thief is disgusting. I think that there was a time where Shadow Thief was the very top of S tier and was just the best character in the game. Obviously, I think that that time has passed. However, still obviously solid S tier. The card draw, the damage, the scaling, the damage mitigation. It's just it's a disgusting thing. And the force discard if you get the Cardicopia upgrade.
Yep. Force discard. You have Into the Shadows, which you can roll for. You have cards that can do it. It doesn't
Correct.
fall off for like an entire turn. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
if you know, I think the biggest thing that when people see Shadow Thief and they don't do well with him or her or him, Shadow
Him.
Thief. I'm just gonna say Shadow Thief. Is because they're just piloting him incorrectly, right? Shadow Thief is not like a I'm gonna do damage every single turn, and he basically is he's gonna hide and build up a bunch of cards and a bunch of CP and then unload on you, and then you're not gonna be able to touch him. So that's virtually how Shadow Thief plays, and I think once you learn how to pilot Shadow Thief, he's definitely easily S tier.
Sounds good. All I heard was touch him and he's gonna unload on me. Okay, let's move on. Your turn.
And you can see with the attributes offense, durability,
Yeah.
disruption, agency, economy. Everything is virtually above 5, if not above 7 or above. Um, Counters, oh, that's kind of cool. It even goes into more like role plan and details. Look at this. This is an upgrade. Counters to Shadow Thief. This is saying Raveness is a pretty good counter, and I think
Absolutely.
Raveness simply because you
Because
know
of the Raven. The Raven,
yeah,
you can't go into shadows for 3 Raven pecks,
yeah.
it's dodging defense. You also Ravenous also has a card that makes one attack undefendable, so
I
you
also
can
think the
use
the
that.
hex as well, right?
Yes, the Hex is really obnoxious for Shadow Thief as well, and you can also put you just put the Raven on him, suck him dry, put a hex on him. His life sucks.
Yeah, and there it is. Yeah. So Shadow Thief is beatable, but also very, very, very strong. So
Absolutely.
all right. Let me I like picking the not S tier. I know. So just so everyone's clear, Charlie is definitely a meta chaser. He plays like the meta heroes, and he's very good at it. I tend to play like the C, B, low A characters because I like to make them good or try to turn them into S tier. Um, I'm gonna go with an interesting one. I'm gonna go with Psylocke here, and I don't think Psylocke gets enough love. That said, I am not delusional. I do not think Psylocke is S or A, maybe even not B, but I definitely think she's high C tier. What are your thoughts?
I know very little about Psylocke. I've not taken the time to learn her. I would only defer to Carnix right now, and I've got her right in the middle of the pack,
Yep. Yep.
45% win rate. I mean, if you want to throw her in C, I think that's totally fair. I'm going to leave this one to you.
So the reason being is Psylocke has a lot of disruption with paralysis or paralyze. And in a lot of these matchups, if you can get paralyzed on your opponent, they're going to struggle at generating tokens, at generating the things that they need. For instance, Headless Horseman, Shadow Thief into the Shadows, Raveness Feathers, Black Widow Agilities, right? So there are some matchups where Psylocke, in my opinion, I think at best is a coin flip. But a coin flip into S tier and A tier heroes is still a really good place to be in a Bring 3 ban 1. And most people are not going to ban Psylocke because you probably have bigger threats, right? So in some
Yeah.
matchups, I do think she can be extremely disruptive and extremely good, and most people aren't comfortable playing against her. Now, she doesn't draw a ton. She doesn't do a lot of things. This room is getting very full, as you said it would probably get full, Charlie. But um,
We have an
luckily, no
audience.
one's talking in here, which is great. We're making a tier list video. So I do think she does fit nicely in this high C, maybe even low B tier. And I think the Carnix data also justifies it as well. So
For
you're
sure.
up, Char.
All right.
Char.
You're up, Kip. I am actually going to go for Miles. I'm going to grab Spider-Man. And this is the
Just
first one that
sticking with the
might
theme.
be debatable. I don't know that it is, but I'm throwing him in S.
Yeah.
He's going
Why
right to
S
S
tier for
for me.
Spider Man?
S tier. Spider-Man is the uh, epitome of a rushdown character. He does so much damage. He
Yep.
attacks twice with his combo. He puts webbed on you, which means you can't defend. It also does damage to isolated the webbed. So it's just really hard to deal with a lot of matchups. You're just getting rushed down, and you can't really do anything about it. Carnix right now has him at the third highest win rate at 56%. I think that matters. Also, along with the experience I've had with him, he's just a disgusting, disgusting little boy, and I'm gonna throw him an S.
Those high schoolers nowadays, right? Yeah, I would agree. I think to your point, the offensive capability and then the ease of use. He has a really simple game plan,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
hmm
and the game plan's not wildly hard to roll for, which just makes it like it can be awkward sometimes, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times he has a very similar game plan to what like a druid would have, which is get 2 6s in combo and then roll a small straight. And if you can just do that the whole game, you're probably going to win 60 to 70% going into most of these heroes, right? Obviously, there's going to be strong defensive heroes that counter him. So Cursed
Oh
Pirate,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Forgemaster.
hmm
So heroes with really good defense that can hurt him back are going to be
Yes.
even Thor. I don't know if Thor necessarily counters him, but if Thor can upgrade his defense and prevent a lot of that damage, because Spider-Man's basically doing 2 mid-tier attacks each turn. So he's doing
Yes.
5 to I don't know 15 damage. I would say basically he's doing roughly 15 damage because he's doing 2 turns, right? Um, However, there are a lot of defensive heroes that can hit back just as hard. And I think that's
For
why
sure.
he can be countered. Don't just bring him and think you're going to win. But if your opponent has a really good defensive character and you can ban it and they leave your Spider-Man up, you're likely going to win that matchup.
Absolutely. If your opponent slams Cursed Pirate, do not slam Spider-Man. Your life will suck.
Or what we're
So
kind of seeing too is Forgemaster is pretty sneakily on a lot of these best picks versus lists, and I think that's just because again his defense, especially against a Spider-Man matchup, if they can't get the web on you to make it undefendable, you're going to be taking a lot of damage back each time you hit him for the most part, which is kind of cool.
absolutely. And to your point, before we move on, the ease of use, I think, is something important to note. He is one of the easiest characters in the game to pilot. If you think you're just going to throw Black Widow on the table and first time it dry and win a bunch of games, you're wrong. There's a lot to learn about that character. However, Spider-Man is very accessible for the average player, and that's part of the reason why I've got him in S. Very easy to play, very strong.
I agree. Do you have him below Black Widow, Shadow Thief, and Raveness, or
Yeah, I think that he has some weaknesses, and that if you're playing against a character with a very strong defense, which is a decent amount of characters nowadays,
yep,
it
yep.
is hard to win. He is situational. To be fair, most situations he's great, but it is still situational. So I'd put him below those characters in S right now.
I would agree, and you nailed it there, right? Like Spider-Man is going to beat almost everyone unless you pick a bad matchup, whereas Black Widow, Shadow Thief, and Raveness are pretty much good into every matchup. So I think that's where the distinction is of why he's a little bit
Yeah.
lower on the list. So
Some people might put him in A. I'm gonna throw him in S. That's my
yeah,
opinion.
I think he's only an A if you pick poorly.
All
um,
right, you're up.
okay, another controversial pick, but it's one that I've really
Ooh,
grown to
I'm ready.
love, and I
Here we
think is
go.
very, very, very strong if piloted well. Huntress. Now,
Mm.
again, I'm not delusional. I'm not going to put her in S or A, but I am going to put her in low B.
Mhm.
Okay. I think if you pilot Huntress properly, and where is she in this? Let's see. Let's see.
Huntress
She's 35th.
is
So
yeah,
not a great win
she's
rate.
no bottom
Um,
third.
and you can notice from this attributes list on Carnix, right? Her durability is why I think she survives and does pretty strong things in the current meta. She has really good access to undefendable. She has a really good body shield. She's just a really durable hero. Now, she doesn't have virtually no economy. She's not easy to use. Her offense is extremely weak. But this is a character where over time you're going to get the value. And if you can manage Naira and Huntress properly, I think Naira is a very, very sneaky pick. A, because
Nira.
I say Naira, whatever.
It's
Um,
Nira. Read the leaflet.
Nira, Nira. I'm gonna call the lion Nala from now on. But um, I just think she's a sneaky pick because I don't think a lot of people know A, how to pilot her, but B, how to beat her smoothly. And if you don't know what you're doing against Huntress, she can be very, very, very sneaky.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that I don't have a ton of knowledge when it comes to Huntress. However, I have played against it a lot, and I can tell you that if you don't know what you're doing going into that matchup, it's very frustrating to deal with. I would personally put her in either C or D, but that's with my limited knowledge on the character. I don't know that she deserves B. I think there are a lot of other really, really good characters that are going to push her out of that. But
I think
if
you're
you
right.
think she goes in B, then she
I
goes
think
in
you're
B.
right. We'll likely start adjusting this over time. But for
Yeah, for
now,
sure.
that with this list, we're currently ever at B. But I think she's probably
Yeah.
high C. But to your point, if you don't know what you're doing against her, and Nira is down to 1 HP, and you're loading up to do this 15 undefendable damage, it's like, well, I'll just have Naira tank it, and
Yeah,
Nira take it, and you just lost your 15 damage to a one and did virtually nothing. And then
for
Huntress
sure.
just summons Nira the next turn, and she's right back to normal, right? So if you don't know what you're doing, very strong. In a competitive setting, most people are going to know what they're doing, but I still think she sneaks into C, maybe low B, depending on how this list goes. So you're
For
right.
sure. If you don't know what you're doing and you send 15 damage and Huntress just holds up a Glock to nearest forehead and pulls the trigger and says, "Haha, you don't do any damage to me." It's really frustrating. So I would say that as a general rule, this tier list is going to be helpful. However, the most important thing beyond tier lists is matchup knowledge and getting practice with the individual hero. If you've played a
I
thousand
agree.
games of Huntress and you're going against someone who's played one game of Black Widow, I'm putting my money on the Huntress.
It's very true. Very true. I guess to your point, on equal footing, She definitely falls
Yes.
into C
Yeah, this
tier,
assumes equal
maybe
skill.
D.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
going along with my
I want to
opinion
make one more
of
point though. Huntress
yes.
is a sneaky bring three ban one character because she will never get banned, and she does have good matchups into some of these top tier characters. So
Mhm,
learn how to play her, and she can do sneaky things.
for sure. Yeah, she's fun. Going along with the S tier theme, we're gonna grab Mr. Gambit,
Oh God, gross.
and we're gonna put this disgusting little boy in the S tier.
I agree.
Gambit is so consistent. He is, despite what his leaflet says, I actually would argue that he is very easy to play. His strategy is very straightforward. He has very few abilities that he wants to go for on his board, mainly just sleight of hand. If you could just
Yep,
activate sleight of hand every turn, you just win
you
the game,
win. Yep.
and it's fairly easy to roll. So after a few games of understanding how his kit works, you start to destroy people. It's just such a consistent damage dealing character, and his defense is slightly above average, and there's not a lot you can do to disrupt his strategy because his cards are not status effects. You cannot buy them. His molecular acceleration are not something that you can mess with. That's all his stuff. So it's just something that is unavoidable and consistent, and that's why he goes into S tier.
I I agree wholly. Yeah, Gambit is one of the most, in my opinion, annoying players to play against because sleight of hand is easy to roll. It does a lot of damage, and it gives him everything that he could ever want to kill you. And that's pretty much how you play Gambit. Sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand,
GG's.
sleight of hand, sleight of hand, sleight of hand. Declaration simulator is
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Gambit is.
Now, I would even debate that he may even be ahead of
I
Spider-Man.
100%. I actually might put him ahead of Shadow Thief, believe it or not, in this meta. I actually would put him behind Black Widow. I think that Shadow Thief has fallen off from the very top recently with the addition of some of these new heroes.
I
And
agree.
yeah, I'm putting him just behind Black Widow,
And I
honestly.
think and I think he's here because of his consistency. If he were
Absolutely.
harder to pilot or play, sure he slides down the list little bit, but the fact that he is so easy to play and does everything so well for your game plan, more so than Spider-Man, Raveness, and Shadow Thief, I think this is one where early on it looks intimidating if you want to play him, but after like two games you're like, oh, I do this, then I do this, then I do this, and
Yeah.
it's pretty
It's
simple. So
very, very straightforward. It looks harder than it is.
100%. I honestly avoided playing him because I thought it was complicated, and then I played him once, and I was like, "Oh, this is like the easiest
Me
thing to do."
too. Exactly. And he has very few matchups that are bad. I don't
Yeah.
think he has zero counters. He only has a couple that are good, like decent into him. But yeah.
Yep.
All right,
And
your
that's
turn.
one thing we see on Carnix as well is as you go down the
Mhm.
list, like everything. Worst case scenario, it's a coin flip, right?
Yeah.
So,
All right,
um,
you got it.
all right, over to me. Let's go with. I'm gonna go with Druid. Get a little spicy here, and I'm gonna put Druid in the S tier.
You stealing my S tiers?
I had to. I had to. And the reason for
I
that,
agree.
just like Gambit, I think the Druid is also one of the most consistent heroes and does really mostly everything well. It's not like you're just doing one ability, but again, once you've played the Druid two or three times, being able to do what he wants to do, and the fact that it's really easy to do that and it's so effective, I think is why I have him in the S tier. I would probably put him. I want to put him probably in front of Raveness, but maybe not quite the Shadow Thief. But that's kind of my take on him.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd probably put him right there.
Yep, yep. Anything you
Yeah.
want to add to Druid?
No, I mean, in lieu of making a 4-hour video, I think we should probably move on. But yeah, I think that it, Druid is very consistent. He has a perfect Ravenous defense if you are able to go in bear stance with the 4 Delta. It's just a consistent character that is fairly easy to pilot.
Yep. All right, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna go with my favorite character in the whole game, and that's gonna be Iceman.
All
I,
right.
I this is a tough one. S tier is getting very, very full, and
Well,
my
we're picking all of them, so like
that's a
eventually
good
we're not
point.
going to have them.
I my opinion is that Iceman is S tier. I think a lot of people might disagree and put him in A. So if you want to put him at the very, very bottom of S tier, I think that is probably fair. I love Iceman. He's my favorite character. He always will be. His ability to rush down characters is very strong with his 17 damage combo, alt into everybody chill. He also has access to undefendable. He has access to card draw. He has CP with cold treat. He has a fantastically consistent defense. I just think that there are so many options with Iceman. Obviously, there are counters if your opponent, similar to Spider-Man, if your opponent slams Curse Pirate, you can't throw Iceman on the table. You will lose a huge majority, a super majority of the time. So you kind of live or die by the defense of the opponent because you're attacking twice. But I love Iceman. He's my favorite, and he always will be.
Yeah, I agree. I would even probably put Iceman just in front of Spider-Man, to be honest.
I would agree. I would actually
Yeah,
agree. Yeah. I like
yeah.
that
Mostly
for
because of
sure.
ease of use. I know I said Spider. Oh, why can't I do this? I know I said Spider-Man is easy to use, but I think Iceman is even easier. Just because once you get rolling with the glides, you're just doing basic attacks for max damage. Whereas Spider-Man, and I think he has a little bit better economy than Spider-Man, which I think is why he's a little bit above him.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that Spider-Man's easier to pilot, but Iceman is definitely easy for sure.
all right, let's go with. I'm gonna go with Black Panther here, and
Ooh, I like it.
I am actually gonna put him in A tier.
I agree.
And the reason for that is I think a lot of the better heroes and a lot of the better um, S tier champions have a lot of tick damage, whether it's Raveness pecking, Webbed from Spider Man, the Druid with the wounds. I think there's a lot of these heroes that are just building into Black Panther's win conditions, which is why I think he's someone that you should probably put in or learn how to play for a Bring 3 ban 1, because he's going to be very, very troublesome into a lot of these S tier heroes.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Carnix has him a lot lower, but I'm actually going to disagree with Carnix. I like him in A. I think that he is an underrated character. His economy is insane with
Mm-hmm.
the blowing up, with the kinetic energy, getting your 2 CP and 2 cards. So anything that allows you to draw a huge portion of your deck is going to have a high skill ceiling and be, very strong. So I think that uh, it, Carnix has him like kind of in the middle of the pack at 20th, 47% win rate, but I actually totally agree with A. I think that he has a lot of good matchups into the top tier characters, and he's very easy to play. He's very easy to learn and pilot, and I'm a huge fan.
Yep, I would agree. I would agree. You're up.
All right, I think it might be time for A tier. Although, oh no, we got Alchemist. Oh no. All right, one more S tier, one more, and then I'm done. We're done with the S tier.
Okay,
Alchemist is
Alchemist.
my second favorite hero. Love Alchemist. Been loving her ever since she came out. She is incredibly consistent at putting poisons on your opponent, and it doesn't matter if they have what status effects, bye-bye, transference, you're putting it right back on. So it is a futile effort to try to get the poisons off that are being sent to you. It's very easy for Alchemist to put them on you on her turn and on her defense. So just the ability to get the 3 poisons on you, the ability to potentially dodge your defense with Hermetics, prevent 4 with Bolster 8 on her defense, the ability to chase 6s and have a reliable 13 damage attack
Yeah,
if you get
yeah,
modded out of an alt or mini alt is so consistent and so annoying. So I would absolutely put her in S tier. I think she has a lot of potential. She also has economy with her large straight, which is easy to roll because she gets to re-roll her dice. So
I love it.
yeah, love
I
Alchemist.
agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think she has some really bad matchups with other S tier heroes. For instance, I think Alchemist's biggest weakness is aggressive heroes. If you can run down the Alchemist, because
Iceman.
the Alchemist's defense is
Yeah.
not sexy, right? Sometimes it goes off, most of the time it doesn't, right? And if Iceman or Spider Man or Pyromancer are just smashing her face, I think it's a very difficult matchup. That said,
Yeah,
just don't
for
pick
sure.
Alchemist in that matchup, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure. I would agree. Yeah.
where do you have Alchemist in the S tier?
Um.
Before Iceman, after I would put Alchemist at probably at the bottom, simply because there is some nuance and there are some really
For
really
sure.
tough matchups.
I will agree. She has no access to undefendable damage outside of
Yeah.
her mini alt, but
Yep.
everybody has
All right.
non-defendable mini alt, right? So yeah, I would agree. Let's put her at the bottom of S.
All right. Let's move on to Santa.
Ha ha ha.
Santa baby.
And a chimney tonight.
So Santa's an interesting one for me because this was actually the first hero I learned how to play. I think Santa is what Barbarian probably should have been. um,
For sure. I like that take.
he's a better Barbarian, and Barbarian's going to be in the F tier. We
Absolutely.
can get. Let's just put him there now. We'll explain
We'll
why
just throw
later.
him there.
So Santa to me though, I think there is some sort of a way to get him into low C, but for now I'm going to put him in high D. And the reason for that, not a lot of people play him. He has some really bad matchups. He's actually in the middle of the pack here, which is interesting. Right around, well, not the middle. He's middle low.
Yeah,
Um, but if you can pop off with Santa, it is absurd, absolutely absurd. And there's ways to do that with his cheer, with some six hits. That said, you kind of have to get lucky. And any hero or champion that requires luck over consistency, unfortunately, in my opinion, cannot be above a C. So
for sure. I mean, if you just roll naughty or nice every turn, you win the game. Every game. It does either 10 or 12 damage.
I
It's
would agree.
absolutely disgusting. So,
That
yeah,
said,
I
his
would say that
defense is
Santa is a
trash.
better barbarian.
Yeah, his defense is trash, and naughty or nice is not the easiest to roll for. So it's like that's where it's
Yeah,
like, and
yeah,
with not consistently having cards or mods or things like that, it's like if you can get the cards and get the dice, you're gonna be pretty good. But that said, that's every single hero. So I have him in the highest of D's, maybe the lowest of C's. But let's move on.
Yeah, I might respect a low C, but we're gonna have to we're gonna have to see later on as
See how
time
this
goes on.
flushes itself out. We're
All
supposed
right.
to save the S tier for the end of the video. Now everyone's gonna stop watching. Jeez.
That's a good point. Good point. Okay, I love Paladin. I'm gonna go with Paladin next. I think that there was a time when Paladin might have been considered S tier.
I
That
agree.
time is no longer here. He has too many counters. I just love economy Paladin. It's one of my favorite uh, ventures in the game is to just spam Holy Light and
Sure.
what's the other one? I'm
The
blanking.
Yep.
Holy Light and Retaliate. That's right. Holy Light and Retaliate, and just draw your entire deck, alter your opponent a couple times, and never touch their defense. I like that sort of style of gameplay. However, there are too many counters, so I would probably throw it in A.
Yeah, I would say lowest of A, highest of B's, just because, again, he used to be, I would say, S tier. I think he was. His defense was absurd. His economy was absurd, and he could hit hard when he wanted to. And then he had the holy light or the revival one at the end of the game where you can't even kill him. He always gets an alt off every single game, which is just amazing. But to your point, I think a lot of the champions now have ways to beat him, whereas before they didn't, which is why I think he's fallen a little bit from the throne of S tier to probably low A in my opinion.
For sure. I would agree that he's probably low A. As time goes on, he might be high B, but I like low A for now. The problem with Paladin is that despite all of his strengths, he is very vulnerable to where his tithe card is in his deck.
Yep,
If his
that's
tithe
yep.
card is on the top, hey, that's fun. GG. If his tithe card is on the bottom of his deck, hey, that's not fun. Also
Yep.
GG. So
Yep.
he is vulnerable to where his cards are in
And,
his
and
deck,
I think
I would
another
say.
thing too is like he does not have a good win rate into the top heroes. So if you're
For
going
sure,
into
yeah.
an event and you're playing Raveness, Shadow Thief, Druid, Black Widow, Thor, Spider-Man, Alchemist, Krampus, Headless Horseman, you're going
Yeah.
into a losing fight, right?
For sure. Also, Paladin takes a long time to get going, and if you're playing in an in-person ranked play with a 30-minute time limit, it's a
Yep.
disadvantage to play a character that takes so long to get going.
Yeah, because Paladin can be totally fine at 17 health. However, if your opponent's at 37 and the time runs
And
out,
you have
you
3 minutes
lose.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose even though you're
For
probably going to
sure.
win that game. So,
Yeah. I'm a
um,
huge fan of Paladin, but yeah, I think that low A is probably deserved.
yep, I would agree with that. Let's get just an easy one out of the way. Gunslinger, I'm going to put an F tier. Let's move on. You go ahead.
Love it. I will put Seraph in F tier. Your turn.
Yep. Seraph goes into
I
F
don't
tier.
think that we need an explanation for that. It's just, just sort of a batch explanation is that they just don't have enough average damage per turn. They don't have enough economy. Although Gunslinger has decent economy with, bounty. She gets a lot of CP. It's
CP
just they're
with
not
no cards
consistent
doesn't
characters.
matter though.
Seraph is hard to roll for.
Yep, yep.
We don't need to go into all of
Yeah,
it. They're just
if
they're
they're
just
in
F
F
tier.
tier, just leave a comment asking why we put them there, and it's pretty easy to explain. But yeah, we're gonna throw a few into F tier,
Yeah, just
with very minimal explanation. So,
correct. Just to make the
um,
video not last 4 hours, we'll just
yep,
throw
yep.
some
What
stuff
about
in F
Moon
tier.
Elf? Do you put Moon Elf in F, or do you put it at low
No,
D,
I would put
high
Manelf higher
D?
than F tier.
That's what I was
Maybe
thinking. I don't think.
C.
Do you think? And I think
C.
there's a
Yeah,
reasoning that she's not an F because her basic defense is actually really really strong.
her defense
Um,
is insane.
yeah,
Yeah,
her defense is probably one of the best in the game. However, some of her role objectives are not great. She doesn't have access to undefendable, not really well, and it
yeah,
just and she has
yeah,
no economy, and all of her cards are
yeah.
really expensive. So it's
Oh,
like
they're so expensive. Yeah,
so you're basically playing Dice Throne without cards because if you want to do one and a lot of her cards are upgrades which are really good but they cost like 3 or 4 CP and she has no way to get CP. So
yeah.
like I think low C, maybe high D, but
I would put her in low C. I like low C. I think that her defense is insane. Her defense upgrade is
yeah,
absolutely insane.
yeah,
It is just unrivaled. She has a lot of potential. I mean, if you're playing against a character that has not a lot of economy or access to status removal, you can throw targeted on early and just do 2 extra damage per turn the
yep,
whole game. We've got
I agree.
a little bit of RNG going on with blinds and evasives, and entangles.
Yeah,
But I think that she has a lot going on for her. She has enough going on for her that she's not F or D. I would definitely put her in bottom C.
yeah. If I were to upgrade her, and this is a small side trek here, like have it kind of be like a Jean Grey scenario where it's like one turn she doesn't draw, and then the next turn she gains 2 CP and draws 2 cards. I feel like that could really just fix a lot of her kit. Um, or like if her defense does X, you draw an extra card next turn. I don't know, but there's ways where we could fix her, but right now she's just not competitive. Um,
Yeah.
let's go with Storm.
All right.
Storm, I really enjoy. I really enjoy playing Storm, and it hurts me to say it, but she's got to be high D, low C for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I would agree.
yeah, just everyone does things that can kill her quick. She loses to aggro, she loses to defensive mitigation, she loses to evasives, she loses to defendable and undefendable. She really
Mm.
only beats like the F or like the maybe the C or the D tiers on a good day. And it's a lot of setup, and that setup can be completely screwed over with dice mods. She's just not a complete hero in my opinion. So
Yeah, I mean, Karnix has her as the second lowest win rate in the game. However, just playing her and experiencing what it's like to play against her and as her, I definitely would at least throw her in D. I don't think that she deserves F. She is
yeah,
such a cool character thematically. I love
yep,
rolling 9 dice. It's just such a fun experience, and she has a lot of access to undefendable damage. In terms of like getting her, what is it called? Her shock. It's been
yeah.
a while.
The lightning, like you can do like the
Charge.
lightning pings, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lightning, yeah. So in terms of her lightning, she can dish out a lot of damage actually.
She
But the
can.
problem is her defense is awful, and she just loses to most
The defense
characters.
is awful. She doesn't draw cards consistently. She can
Yeah.
her biggest damage or appeal is going for the largest straight, which is 6 dice, which you can just tip her out of it. Like it, you know.
Correct. And then also the most annoying mechanic in the game is if you're playing in a server that has bye,
Also,
she
bye
can
bye.
use her
Yep,
card that makes her wind shear double in effectiveness for a total of 8 delta.
and just bye
After
bye it.
she spends the card, the wind shear can get bye-byed.
Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah.
So
I think Storm is going to be in the D tier. As much as I love her
yeah.
thematically, and I do enjoy playing her, she's just not going to be able to compete with any of
Yeah,
the
Carnix
A or
Carnix
S
is gonna
tiers.
throw her an F, but I'm gonna disagree. I got her in D.
Yeah, I do think she beats
It's fun
Gunslinger, Seraph,
for sure,
Barbarian, sometimes Santa. So,
for sure.
all right, you're up.
I am going to go with a very controversial take right now. A lot of people are gonna disagree with this. I'm gonna put Forgemaster in the top of A.
Where's Forgemaster? There he is. All right, explain it.
And first off, I'll devil's advocate. He has the second highest win rate on Carnix in the game. Forgemaster is disgustingly strong.
I think
Being able to do
generically, Forgemaster is disgustingly strong. However,
yes.
yep.
So, however, well, he's disgustingly strong because you can build armor fairly consistently. You can then you know potentially do 6 or 10 delta on your defense with doubling the effectiveness of both armors, which is just insane. However, if you are able to dodge Forgemaster's defense and
Just
you
play a
have
character
access
that
to
does undefendable
undefendable,
damage. Yeah.
it makes Forgemaster's life not very fun. I think that there are too many ways to play around his kit,
Yep.
and this is a hot take, but I'm throwing him in top A
I would agree with that. I think he's in the realm of I would definitely bring him to a bring three ban one
for
because
sure.
if your opponent does not have two characters that have good undefendable damage
Oh yeah,
and
you
you
win.
ban that character that does, well then
Yeah,
Forgemaster, just
yeah,
like
GG.
Black Panther, is a relatively easy pick in that matchup.
Yes, and
Um,
Forgemaster, it might seem like he's complicated to learn, and he might be a little bit complicated, kind of like a Gambit where you got to learn how everything works. After you know how everything works, it's so straightforward and it's so
yeah.
easy to play.
Yep. I would agree. You explained to me how to play it, and then after like the second game, it was just like boop, 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 build this, build that. But to your
A
point,
good haul, good haul, good haul. Build my armor,
it,
close my eyes, take a nap, roll the dice.
exactly. Oh, you hit me, cool, take 6 damage. Oh, you hit me,
Yeah.
cool,
Oh
take
yeah.
6 damage. Oh,
Yeah.
you
Take
hit
six.
me,
Take
and I
six.
have both things upgraded, take 6 damage, and I'll
Yeah.
prevent two for
Ooh,
doing
6 it. Take 10
nothing.
now. hmm
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a
So
pickaxe. I'll re-roll that with my diamond. Oh, I rolled a 4. Take 6 damage back.
exactly. So generically very strong. However, just like Paladin, he does have some pretty consistent counters and ways to work around him. So
Yeah, he's much stronger than Paladin, but and I'm gonna get some flack for that. But I am gonna stand firm, and I'm throwing him in top A.
all right, I don't disagree with that. I think that's pretty. Oh, I messed up my board there. There we go. Okay, let's go with one of my favorites to play, Captain Marvel. One of my favorites to play, however, I do think Captain Marvel ends up in D, maybe low C. Again, relatively difficult role objectives to get the most effects out of her, and then virtually no economy. If you pop off with Captain Marvel, just like with Santa, you're going to win games, but you need to just be lucky with the cards that you start the game with. That's why I have her in high D. So,
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go with Cursed Pirate. We'll go with Cursed Pirate.
okay.
I love Cursed Pirate. However, I am actually gonna throw her in top A,
Yep.
either behind Forgemaster or ahead. It's up to you. I think that she used to be immediately S tier,
Yep.
undeniable, undebatable. I think that a lot of heroes have come out that have been able to counter her and dodge her defense. If
Yep.
you are able to not hit her defense very much, she is not able to get the CP or the damage mitigation to continue on. Also, she's getting doubloons on her defense, so you can almost force her to get into a situation where she needs to get doubloons on her turn to not flip. Characters like Raveness make her life kind of hard. So I
Yep.
think that there was a time where she was S tier. I'm gonna put her in top A now,
I would agree. Yeah, I think just like with the Forge Master, there's ways to work around her. I do think she has a little bit more economy to
for
get what
sure.
she wants, um, and make games last a little bit longer. But to your point, if I can avoid her defense and she has to spend time getting doubloons on her turn, it means she's not spending time doing additional damage to me. And the longer the game goes, the worse it gets for Cursed Pirate in a lot of scenarios. So it's weird as a somewhat defensive character who doesn't want the game to go too long. She also wants to extend the game, but not extend it for too long of a
Yeah,
time.
she has a
So
lot of options. She has so much economy. She has access to undefendable. She can put kegs on you and rush you down. Her small straight's one of the greatest in the game. It's she has so much going for her, but I think that she, with the addition of some of the newer characters in the
yep,
last
yep.
year or so, she has just barely been ticked down to A tier, just barely.
Just like with Paladin, I think she's still extremely generically one of the best in the game and doesn't require
Absolutely,
a ton to do. But in the right hands, I think Curse Pirates and S tier, hands down.
for
But
sure.
generically, yeah, I think at the moment a high A is probably where she lands.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where I'm sort of injecting my own opinion. A lot of people might disagree. You'd throw Curse Pirate in S, put Iceman down to A, and that's totally fair. This is just my own opinion that I'm sort of injecting in. Nobody's going to debate that Black Widow's an S tier.
Yeah,
Nobody's going to debate that Gunslinger and Seraph
Gambit,
are F tier.
Druid, yeah.
But some
Yeah,
of this is going to get into personal opinion.
well, that's
And
why. I mean, it's our
yeah,
it's our
for
show,
sure. I
so
totally understand that Curse Pirate and S, some people are going to have her there, and I don't disagree. I'm
yep.
going to throw in her A.
All right, I like it. I like it. Let's do Horseman.
All right.
I think Horseman ends up in A. Probably
Yeah,
low A. I think there are better offensive heroes than the Horsemen that are maybe a little more consistent, a little more aggressive, a little bit better defense, or a little bit better this, or a little bit better that. But I do think the Horseman has some ways to win that are not just like a Gambit hits you in the face, do as much damage, or a Spider-Man or an Iceman. He manages the Dreadfuls. He manages a couple other things to make sure that he, if piloted well, I think he's high A, but I think just generically or where we're at with the current meta, I have him probably as a low A.
for sure. I would, as a minimum, put him above Paladin Black Panther. I would put him next to Curse Pirate in terms of strength.
Yeah, I'd probably
Uh,
have him right in maybe just below or just above Black Panther, but he's
yeah,
right here in my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. There are people that would put him in S. I'm gonna agree with you. I think he deserves to be right there. Uh, yeah, I think you explained it well. He has rushdown capabilities. He's got some economy with getting C. No, he has a ton of economy, CP, and you know
Yeah, with the ride
otherwise.
downs and all that stuff. Like he's more of like he's not like he wants to be like a straight out aggro character, but he has other ways to also deal damage outside of just
Yeah,
swinging, which I think is
he's got
why
he's
he's
got
a little
Reap
more
to draw a
unique.
card. He's got
Yep.
Terrorize to get CP. He's got
Undefendable damage. Yep.
For sure. He's got a lot of options, and I think that if somebody wanted to throw him an S, not going to disagree with you at all. I would put him right there in A, mid A.
Yep. All right, you're up.
All right. It's time to cry. My poor Artificer. Oh, I love him so much. This used to be my main before Iceman. He was my
Yep, I
favorite of all
remember.
time. He was S tier immediately, no debate, years ago. Yeah, we're gonna throw him in bottom A.
Bottom A. High B or bottom A?
Bottom A. I
Bottom A.
still think he has a lot going for him.
I do too.
But yeah, the problem is no access to undefendable. The problem is what is the
Not
problem?
a ton
It's
of
hard to
card
say.
draw, right? Like he has some, but not a lot.
He's got schematics, but the
His
problem is the
defense is kind
schematics.
of
You're not
mid.
doing your 10 damage that you really should be every turn. You're trying to rush your opponent down. I don't think that you want to go too late game, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that it's almost like a duelist in that you can pretty consistently do 10, 11 damage a turn. But I would definitely put him above duelist because of the economy that he has.
Yeah, I would
And the
agree.
ability to he's a lot more consistent at preventing damage with his heal bot
Yep. Yep. The heal
than Duelist
bot's
is,
huge. I think to your point, it usually takes one, maybe two turns to get online, whereas Duelist starts the game online. But
for sure. But
once
that scales
online,
better.
once online,
Artificer
the
scales.
Artificer scales way better. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
Thor.
go for it.
I have Thor high A.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
I would. He's above Black Panther. I have him probably right here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, I think he just does everything really well. There's not much to really dive into Thor. He has really good defense generically. He has really good offense generically. He's easy to roll for. He has really
Hmm.
good card draw. He has ways to
Economy.
deal
Yeah.
damage outside of the attack phase. So it says he just does everything really good. He's really consistent.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with the advent of the nerf a year or two ago, he obviously used to be the strongest character in the game, undeniably, in my opinion.
Yep.
But with the nerf to his leaflet and his kit, with the guard break being 33% of the time rather than 50, and then also the electrokinesis not being 3 anymore, and only during main phase now to draw a card, it's just, yeah, I agree with you. I think that he has fallen off with the advent of the nerf, as well as some of the new characters coming out. So I agree with the high A.
Nope. All right, who you got?
Let's see. I am gonna go ahead and go with let's go with the first character I ever played. I was at a board game night with my trivia group at a bar, and some guy took out this new game called Dice Throne, and he played Paladin, and he handed me Monk.
Ooh, okay, all
Monk was
right.
my first game ever, and I fell in love with Dice Throne in the
I
middle of the
love it.
game. I hated it at the beginning and loved it by the end. Monk is a sad one. I love Monk. He has a lot of things going for him, but he's gonna be B for me. He's gonna be
I would
B.
agree.
Yeah.
I
It
think.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go
go
ahead.
for it. No, I don't have much to say about it. As time goes on, some of these more, intuitive characters come out with more options. They can play around his kit,
Yep.
and he doesn't have access to undefendable.
Yep.
He can do a lot of damage. He's got rushdown capabilities. He's got, turtle capabilities. For example, I would say that if my opponent slams Alchemist, I can slam Monk and be like very, very, very happy. So he's got certain counters from S tier characters, but overall, I don't think that he's as competitively viable anymore. Although I love
Yeah.
him so much.
I agree with that 100%. I think before some of the newer characters, dare I say power creep, right? But I think
Yeah,
some
for
of these
sure.
characters just
Yeah,
unfortunately do consistently more damage than when Monk was relevant, and that's additional 2 or 3 damage every turn that some of these characters are putting out now is enough to offset the chi that used to be viable when the Monk was probably A tier. So
I think it's a crime to put him under Duelist, though. I think we disgrace his name. I think we got to put him above Duelist.
I'm
Give him the
only.
respect.
I think Duelist is better. I think Duelist is better than
Oh,
Monk. I
hell
do.
no.
I do. I do. I
All
do.
right,
I
you
do.
can leave it, but I'm gonna hard disagree.
We'll see. We'll see how this thing flushes itself out.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, you're up.
let's go with characters that I actually play sometimes. Pale Lady. I have Pale Lady probably low B, high C. Um, I'd probably put Pale Lady low B. I really like her kit. I really like what she's trying to do. I really love the werewolf form. I really love some of the potential there. However, just like with some of the other ones I mentioned earlier, in a lot of scenarios, you really got to either go all in on early game alting and flipping or get lucky. Um,
Yeah,
again, she has a kit that does a lot of things really, really well, but with not a lot of economy or card draw, she can get modded off of things really easily. And if you can't get to the werewolf by turn two, you're really behind. So
for sure. I think low B is generous. I
I was gonna
love
put,
her
I was
kit.
probably thinking like high C, but maybe even
Yeah, I mean it's probably high C. Like I think she is better than Huntress, probably for sure.
yeah,
I love her kit. She has beautiful art. She has a fun kit. It's fun to play. It's
yeah,
just not strong enough for me to take into competitive.
fun to play, just not consistent enough for competitive in my opinion. So
Yeah. All
all right,
right,
you're up.
let's see what's next. Let's go ahead and slam the Pyromancer.
Yep,
Think there was one time where Pyromancer was S. That
I'd
time
agree.
has passed. I am actually going to go ahead and throw Pyromancer bottom A.
Ooh, spicy.
Unfortunately,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
that might be a little spicy. She might go above things like Artificer and Paladin, maybe. I'm
Yeah,
free
I'd
to.
probably have her
If
right,
you'd like to throw
right,
her there, that's fine.
right in
She
here. The
definitely
headless
has
horseman.
fallen off.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Karnix has her below 50% win rate now, which is crazy. I never thought I'd see that day. She's
right.
very easy to pilot, does a insane amount of damage, can go undefendable if she'd like to. She can go, defendable if she'd like to. She's got options. And it's kind of hard to stop the onslaught of damage if you don't draw what status effects. So
Yeah,
I'm going to put her there. I'm going to put her mid A.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think her biggest downfall is lack of economy. Right, she doesn't
Oh,
draw
for
very
sure.
well.
No
So
CP,
you're
no
kind
card
of
draw.
at the yeah,
Yep,
you're kind of at the mercy of what you get at the beginning of the game and what you draw your first, second, and third turn. And if you don't get mods, you really just got to head bash straight. Her game plan is just to dive straight into them and kill them and hope that they hit her
for sure.
defense.
Yeah, and her
But if
defense is very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're playing a character that has consistent undefendable damage and a good defense, Pyro's going to struggle.
Yeah,
Um,
part of the reason why I put Pyro in A and didn't even consider her an S is one, the win rate. That
yep,
matters. Over 5,000 games, she's lower than 50% win rate, which is crazy to me. Second is she's so vulnerable to her card deck composition because she doesn't draw cards. She only draws cards with income. There's no other way
yep,
for her to get cards. If
yep,
her card, you know, if her first four cards suck, what do? You can't. You just one a turn.
yep.
What if twice as wild, so wild, six at same Z's all on the bottom of the deck? You just lose.
Yeah,
The game is over.
if you don't find triple up, double up, and dice mods, it's a tough go. And I think this is the
Yeah,
but just like with Captain Marvel, just like with Huntress, just like with Santa, they're in that same boat where they're not drawing a lot of cards. However, Pyromancer still has a really good kit for offense and defense generically, which is why I think she
For
ends up
sure.
in A tier
Yeah, I
versus
put her in A.
D or
She doesn't
C.
have a lot of recourse if she has bad card draw, and also she can get modded off of things like combustion because you know 4 is
Right.
a one die face kind of thing. So you can helping hand a 4, you can helping hand a 5, and it's hard.
I
It's
I
hard for
agree.
a pyromancer out on these streets. It ain't easy being a pyromancer.
Well, let's go to. I'm gonna go with samurai. Um,
This
and
is
I
all
have
you. I know nothing.
samurai in low C high D.
Yeah,
Um, and I actually really like the samurai. I think the samurai is actually relatively fun and easy to pilot and play. It's just understated. You know,
for
that's it's
sure.
simple as that. It doesn't draw well. It's understated.
Hmm.
It's mostly, in my opinion, like a trial character. You learn how to play the game with samurai, pyro,
Absolutely.
or samurai,
Yeah,
barbarian, and the elf. And yeah, so I'd probably even have
100%.
samurai maybe like right in here. Maybe even just an F, to be honest.
I'd probably throw in top D actually. I think he's better than those. I mean, I don't know a lot about Samurai, but I've played against it a few times with S tier characters, and I've actually lost a few games, frustratingly. I think that
Yeah.
those games didn't go well for me in terms of the luck department, or maybe I was making poor decisions. I don't know, but I would I wouldn't shame him by putting him in F. I would give him honor by putting him in top D.
I like that. All right, you're up.
All right, let's go ahead and go for Rogue. Let's
Okay.
do some Rogue. Rogue, I think that there was a time where Rogue was a lot higher on the list for me, but again, she's one of those characters that has sort of slowly fallen off as time has gone on. People have found ways to play into her. That other characters have come out that are stronger than her. I'm gonna put her in. Oh, it's either top B or low A. I don't know. What do you think? Top
Yeah.
B?
I had top B. I think you're
Top
right. I
B?
think there's
Yeah.
just other characters in a bring three ban one format that just does what she wants to do a little bit better. So
Yeah. She has an insanely strong kit in terms of you can dodge the opponent's defense very well.
yep.
Leech is one of the strongest abilities in the game in terms of delta, and yeah, Leech is not to be underestimated. Leech is the only reason I'm not throwing her in C immediately, bottom C. Leech is
Yeah.
just such a disgustingly strong ability. So
And for those of you
I
that don't know, leech is where you
yeah,
can steal life from your opponent and you can increase the value of that with, I believe, CP.
CPs you can tip it up one per
Yeah.
CP. You could potentially have a 10 delta leech, and it's free to roll. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not
Yeah.
free to get the 10 delta, but it's free to activate that ability. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Then you can use some CP to tip it up. You're getting 2 ionic energy to increase your attacks later, and then you're stealing 4 health, so your opponent loses 4, you gain 4. It's a total of 10 delta. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like, there's a
and
lot
to
of
your
potential with
point,
her, but
yeah, and to the point earlier too is if you look at the attributes of the rogue, right? Like I'm looking at the Carnex sheet right now, 766 756, right? So again, she does everything well, but I just think there's other heroes that do everything that she wants to do just a little bit better, which I think is why she ends up right in that middle of the pack, high B, low
yeah.
A. So
Yeah, and that tracks. Karnak's got her at just about 50% win rate.
yep,
So
yep,
that
yep.
makes sense.
Krampus. I really enjoy Krampus. I actually kind of have him slightly in that same area, probably high B, low A. Mate,
Wow.
I have trouble putting him in B because I really do think he is an A tier character.
Yeah.
Um, that said, you know you have to know how to play him. He does have a lot of access to undefendable. He does everything pretty okay, but nothing overly well. And he's going to lose to a lot of the S tier heroes, which I think is why he ends up in high B.
Yeah. I've played against experienced Krampuses, and it's not super fun. I mean, I definitely agree. Krampus definitely deserves at least a B tier, in my opinion. I think that he's a little bit underrated.
Yeah, I would agree.
And
All
he's
right,
fun to
you're up.
play. Just his art is so much fun.
So fun,
Okay, let's go
especially
for
in
Jean
December.
Grey.
Yep,
Yeah, we'll go for Jean Grey. Jean Grey, I think at one point was an S tier character time ago.
yep.
But I'm gonna, oh, is she
Right.
bottom A? She bottom A?
I'm.
What do you think?
I know some people may disagree. I have her bottom A, top B. I think she
Mm,
was S tier, but I think as
yeah,
the game's developed and there's been a little bit more quote unquote power creep, she's
yeah.
definitely. I feel bad putting her in B. Not as bad putting her in low A, but I think honestly she's probably top of B for me.
Okay. We can put her there now. I think that that might be a little disrespectful. I think she probably deserves A. But
She is
w-
13th, so you're
B,
probably right.
yeah, B is looking a little anemic there. We definitely need more characters. Okay, wait a minute. Jean Grey and Duelist cannot be in the same tier. That's disgusting. She's got to go in A. You got to put
Uh,
Duelist down or Jean Grey up. There's just absolutely no way.
no respect for the duelist.
No, not where he is.
Yeah.
He's being overrated right now.
And to your point, I think Jean Grey beats a lot of the B, C, D, and F tier characters, but is not normally too well into the S tier or even some of the A, which is why I have her low A. I think is a
She's
good
got
spot.
economy. She's got access to undefendable. If Jean Grey didn't want to hit your defense the whole game, it's possible. You know,
Yeah,
it's possible. She can just do her setup ability into her straights, which are undefendable when she's Dark Phoenix.
I
So
agree. I agree.
I think she's good where she is. You're up.
Let's I want to throw a character into B because I feel like B is a little lacking right now.
It
Mystic
is.
Brawler. I'm gonna
Oh,
put Mystic Brawler in the B tier.
yeah.
Um, I mean, probably like I'd actually have him just behind the Duelist. I know it's a hot take, but
Yeah.
I think Mystic Brawler is good, but I think again he just lacks the economy for me. Like if he could draw
Mhm.
cards, he would be so much stronger. But like
He
I don't
can
know.
draw cards, but it's rare.
It's tough. It's very very tough. He's gonna lose to like 90% of the S tier, most of the A tier. He has really really strong defense, but it has its weaknesses. A undefendable, B status effect removal.
What status effects?
Yeah. So I really really like him. Also like if he's more of like a big swing versus like dealing chip damage. So it's like you have to do all this stuff to build it up to hit really hard, and then some of your guys can just avoid it or half it. So in my opinion, he's definitely I don't have him in A. I don't even have him in top of B. I have him probably low B, maybe even high C. But that's just me.
Yeah, I would probably put him low B, high C, depending on which one looks like it needs more characters. I think that the way that I look at Mystic Brawler is he's like a worse druid. He's like a druid if
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shapeshifts could be removed.
Yeah, he's like a
So
druid if like to your point, the bear could be on the board but removed, and then the cat could be on the board but removed with the amplification of the attack mods or the amplification of the dice roll. So yeah,
you could just you do a couple setup abilities as Mystic Brawler, get all your stuff going, and then you get what status effects, and it's like, wait a minute, I just did 2 turns for almost nothing.
yeah, and I think what
And
really
I'm 2 turns
separates
behind
the
now.
yeah, exactly. And I think what really separates the druid from Mystic Brawler as well is that regeneration token. The druid's
Oh yeah.
regeneration token is busted.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
It's
love it.
possible as time goes on, we'll see more strategies with Mystic Brawler, but I don't think so. I think that he's very straightforward, and it's very obvious what his kit is and his strengths and weaknesses. So I think that he's pretty well rated right there. I think that's fair.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
All right, let's go for Mr. Loki.
Okay.
I love Loki. Loki's so fun to play. Uh, I wish that he was as strong as he was fun, though. So oh man, poor Loki. Poor Loki. I'm gonna have to throw Loki in high C, unfortunately.
Ooh.
I know that's a hot take, but Karnix has him at 42%, which is abysmal.
No
I think
way.
that yeah, I think that that might be a little underrated. I think that he's a little bit better than that, and
Yeah.
potentially we could be moving him to low B for
I
sure.
would if this were the list, I would swap Loki with Mystic Brawler.
Oh, I like that. I like
I
that.
think
Yeah,
Loki's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely low B, maybe even mid B. I think
Okay,
he
yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think the problem with Loki too is not a lot of people play him properly. Just like Shadow Thief, right?
Yeah,
Like there
yeah,
is a way to play Loki. And I think a lot of people aren't patient enough for
for
it,
sure.
but
Not enough
also
people chase straights. Chase
yeah,
large straight. You got small straight, you got vilify, you've got antics, you've got so many fallbacks, and you got to chase that really strong large straight.
yeah, I agree. I agree. But
And
I
then
got
you've
him
got
in
so
low
much
B.
damage prevention. You can't, you can't mod an illusion card usage. I mean, you can buy it and get rid of the illusion token, but once you use it, you can't mod the result. So it's just a very strong way to mitigate damage, and it's fun psychologically torturing your opponents. I hate it. Here's another hot take. I hate it when someone takes the illusion cards, shuffles them without looking at them, and puts them on the table. That is so anti-fun that it blows my mind. You should look at them, set them down, get into your opponent's head. That's the whole point of playing the character. All right, hot take over.
No, I agree. I think that's I really like Loki. I honestly I think the reason I like Loki too is because of the spellbounds and because of the illusions. Just like
For sure.
being able to screw with my opponent and like play mind games and all that stuff, which is probably why I want to have him a little higher in B. But I think realistically, based on the list of what we're seeing and the consistency of the other heroes and what they want to do, I feel okay having him maybe even just above. He's right in this
Oh,
group of
okay. He's
characters.
got to be above Duelist. You gotta concede
No,
that.
no, Duelist is gonna
This
stay
tier
there.
list
All
is looking
right,
real good, but there's a big giant ass pimple right in the middle, and it's
I
named
like it.
Duelist.
I like it. I like it.
All right, your
Um,
turn.
all right, let's go with Deadpool. Really enjoy Deadpool. I got Deadpool low B, maybe high C. Um, I think he just does a lot of things consistently. He has the automatopoeia for consistencies with straights. His defense isn't great, but if you can upgrade it, it's strong. And if you can find some pieces of what you want to do, I think he can compete. I don't think he's competing at an A or an S tier level, and I don't think he's a C, maybe high C, but I'm gonna have him in low B.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with any of that. I'm gonna agree with all of it.
All right, you're up.
All right, let's go for Ninja.
Ninja.
Yeah, Ninja is one of the most frustrating non-S tier characters for me. It's very it's I want you to imagine two guys sitting at a table and they're both holding a coin and they both flip the coin a few times and whoever gets more heads wins the game. That's what it's like
That's
to play against Ninja. It's very frustrating, very swingy.
100%.
Ninja can easily just hit 4 smoke bomb not easily, but it is possible for Ninja to just hit 4 smoke bombs and then you just lose the game. I don't like the coin flippiness of it. I don't like the character very much. However, it is strong. It is consistent. I guess you do have to take into account the fact that if you're doing 5 smoke bombs in a game, law of large numbers will come in. I can't really complain about if some guy hits it 5 times in a row. It's how it goes. It's a game of chance sometimes. Let's throw Ninja in top B. Is that too disrespectful?
I think that's pretty disrespectful.
Okay, A,
I would
not S. We're not
I
throwing
would
Ninja in S.
I would say Ninja was S. I
Years ago.
frankly have Ninja probably at the bottom of S, maybe just like high solid
Ooh.
A right in here. This is kind
Okay,
of
I'll
where I
agree with
have the
Ninja.
Ninja.
I'll agree with that. I'll concede that. I definitely think that Ninja is, well, not one that I ban typically, one that I really don't like to see. Despite it has a negative win rate on Carnix, which is interesting to me. I didn't think that that would be the case.
It has negative win rate on Carnix?
It does. Yeah, it's 17th.
So
It's
so
49%.
so in Ninja's defense on that though, right? I will say not the easiest to pilot. Okay. The
No,
reason why
Ninja's.
I have
What are
her
you on about? Ninja's easy as hell to pilot.
it's easy, but you can have some really bad lines and really bad plays if you don't do it properly. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Just like
Sure.
with Huntress and Naira, like there are some pretty bad plays, but like the access to undefendable, the smoke bomb,
Mhm.
there is a case to say like when it works, it's amazing. When it doesn't, it really sucks. But then
Yeah,
you have
very
cards and ways
swingy.
to regenerate and populate it.
Yeah,
But I think again, just with these defensive heroes up here, the access to undefendable, with some of these big swinging attacks, like
for sure.
Druid or Duelist or Horseman, etc. I, I I
Okay,
have her
I'm gonna
above
recant what I
Paladin.
said. Having her in B was like disrespectful. I'm gonna recant that. She's definitely A.
Yeah,
Uh, she has a lot of opportunity to dodge defense. Delayed poison, undefendable
the
attacks.
delayed
She hits
poisons. Yeah,
burst
yeah,
so
yeah,
much. Her defense is so consistently doing 3 damage back. It's insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
I like
right in
her there
here. She's kind of with the Black Panther Pyromancer crew, not quite
for
Paladin, but
sure.
not quite Thor, Curse Pirate, or
Yeah,
Forgemaster. So
for sure. I agree with that. I agree.
All right, all right. Let's go with I don't play a lot of these. I have played a lot of Treant. I really, really would love Treant to be amazing, and I think he does have some really amazing games. However, um, probably mid C tier,
Yeah, that's
maybe
fair.
even high D. Um,
Ooh,
I,
that's a hot take, but I don't mind it.
I think I have him maybe just behind the Necromancer. Probably
Yeah.
right in this group
Yeah.
of people.
I like
He
that.
does a lot of things well. He can attack well if he needs to. He can put on barbed vines. His defense isn't the worst in the game. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Depending on certain matchups,
His
there
defense
are.
is pretty bad
It's not
unupgraded. It's pretty
terrible
bad.
though. It's not
It's
terrible.
pretty terrible.
I mean, he's right in the middle of the pack. He's 27th.
Yeah,
Um, I do think there again ease of use, which is kind of I think which puts him instead of being B, um, or even high C. I think he can be a little bit tricky to pilot. You have to know your matchup,
for
what you
sure.
want to
Yeah.
do. Do you want to go more of like the spirit farmer where you're building up spirits and hitting really
Mhm.
hard with undefendable damage and expending your spirits, or do you want to go more of a consistent splinter where you're doing barbed vines and trying to just outvalue them over time? Um,
Mhm.
so I think the trickiness of Treant puts it in C, and then just it's a little understated compared to some of the newer stuff or the stuff we've seen. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think that it's worth the difficulty to pilot as far as the strength the character is. I just don't think that the juice is worth the squeeze.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
You got it.
All
What
right.
you got?
Oh man, Wolverine. Oh, PTSD. Oh, flashbacks. Oh. Wolverine and Ninja are my two most hated characters to see that are not S tier.
I
I'd
agree.
never ban them. I don't think there's ever a reason to ban them. Uh, where's Wolverine going?
I want your
Okay.
take because I have my own thoughts. So
Okay. I think that Wolverine is gonna go in A. He's not high A. He's probably low A. Low A,
yeah,
high B.
I
I
put him above the
definitely
paladin.
yeah,
I kind of have
he's
him
got
right here.
economy. He does insane damage.
Yeah,
His defense is decent. It's decent. Getting rages back is pretty good. I've had some trouble against him with the S tier characters. I've definitely had some games where I thought, oh, this should be easy, and it's not, and I lose. I think Ninja and Wolverine are those two that I never ban, but I hate to see.
hundred
So I
percent.
like them together, actually.
100% agree with that. That's my take. I have him in low A, maybe even mid A, depending on the day or the player. There's a guy at our
Yeah.
locals that plays Wolverine all the time and can just be absolutely nasty. Obviously, he's dependent. So one thing, Duelist is actually a good counter for Wolverine because of disarm, right? Because Wolverine's trying to
Oh, yeah,
discard cards and all that stuff. So it's like
yeah,
he does have some weaknesses into some of the newer guys and newer heroes, but I have him in low A just because of the potential of what he can actually do
for
if he
sure.
gets going.
I got a fun one for you. Raveness into Wolverine makes Wolverine want to tear his hair out and take a cheese grater to his forehead. It's the worst matchup ever. You could just make him discard cards every turn, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Well, what do I do?"
discard hex, discard hex.
Yeah.
um,
So, yeah, I like
all
it.
right,
I like it.
let's go with Doctor Strange. I have some games under my belt. As much as I want Doctor Strange to be like A tier or S tier or B tier or C tier or all the tiers, he is very, very tricky to do well. And the reason I would probably have him in really low B, but I'm gonna have him in high C just because I think his ease of use and some of what he's like trying to do is really difficult to pull off consistently. Carnix has him at 18th with the 48
Yeah, I was about to
54.
say he's above Paladin and Black Panther and Artificer in terms of win rate. That's fascinating to me. He's above
Yeah,
Wolverine in terms of win rate. I do think that he probably deserves a spot in B. I've certainly early on in my Dice Throne experience, I was playing against some characters, and Strange was one of the ones that I was like, man, how do I beat this? Like, what is this? This is
yeah.
sorry, how's my alarm going off? This is disgusting. Like, how do I beat this? It's so much damage. So,
And I
but that
would
was back when I didn't know what I was doing. So I think that
here's
just
why I
because
agree
of
with that.
Karnik's stats, I would probably throw him low B because of
Here's why I
Karnik's
would
stats
agree with what you're saying to an extent is if he's firing on all cylinders, he is an A tier character easily.
for sure.
The
Yeah,
catch is I feel like that is only 30 to 35% of the time he's firing all cylinders, and when
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not, he is mid C at best.
yeah. Just a
Um,
little bit feast or famine, just a little bit.
so for me personally, I'd probably have him just behind Mystic Brawler. That's kind of where because I feel
Wow.
like even Mystic Brawler is more consistent and doesn't rely as much on the card draw or
Yeah,
things like that. So that's where I'm going to put him here. But I do hear your take because he can be scary, right? If he gets the
yeah.
crimson bands, and he's getting the deja vus, and he's getting all the card draw to do all the stuff. Like he can be absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
His
I think
floor is just
yeah,
absurd,
I
but I think
I
he's here
personally would put him in low B, just because of his almost even win rate and being higher win rates than some of the B and A characters. But I do agree with you that it's a little hard to pilot and it's a little swingy. Hi- So I'll accept it there. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a good spot for him. And low B and high C are virtually the same thing at the end of the day. But
That's true. Yeah,
all right,
everyone's just gonna pick S anyway, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone's gonna look at,
it
at,
doesn't
at
matter.
these ones at the top and then disregard everything else. So, all
Yeah.
right, what you got next? We're almost done, people.
Let's go ahead and go for Vampire Lord.
Okay,
Vampire Lord is an interesting one. She's sitting at 43% win rate. Pretty
not great,
bad.
not great.
Although I think that she might be a little bit underrated. She's got, I mean, blood power doing +3 damage extra turn, or every turn rather, is disgusting. Just having +3 damage every turn is insane. It's just a better targeted, and it's one that you can't really be removed as easily. So, and the ability to heal with the 4 blood power. She's also got a ton of economy. You can draw cards with her if you want to play a sort of more long, drawn out game where you don't want to hit your opponent's defense as much and you want to draw out the game and draw cards to alt. You can do that. I will tell you that Vampire Lord, as a personal story, uh, is my worst ranked loss ever. Did I tell you about this?
No, go ahead.
Okay, take a guess how much health the other Vampire Lord had when I died as Artificer in person ranked play. Take a guess.
77.
Okay, that's crazy. That's never gonna happen. 56.
Yeah,
56. More
yeah,
than starting health. I died, and Vampire Lord had more than starting health. So it's very swingy. It's very feast or famine. It depends on, if you get a very specific set of cards, it's kind of like Doctor Strange, where if all your spell cards are at the top, you're chilling. And if they're all at the bottom, cry. Uh, if you get an alt off and you heal for 20 and deal 20, you're feeling really good. It's just
yeah,
casual 40 delta alt feels awesome, but if you can't line up things, if all the stars and planets don't align, it's kind of hard for you to get ahead against a
yeah.
lot of the newer characters.
I would say ease of use is tough. You got to pilot her really, really well, or it's going to be disastrous. And she does have some pretty bad matchups, in my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
but she has some really, really good ones as well.
For
So
sure. I don't think she's that hard to play, but there's a little bit of nuance to her in understanding matchups. Like if your opponent's defense is terrible, you just Sanguimancy and then 3 turns of defendable damage and it's +3, +3, +3 with each blood power. But
yeah,
if you're playing against like a cursed pirate, you can't hit that defense every turn, so you're gonna
yep.
want to draw it out a little bit longer, heal a little bit, get some
Which I
cards,
think the
go for some
flexibility of the
undefendable.
character gives her a tier up, right? Because she can play 2 or 3 different styles
Very
of games
flexible, yeah.
depending on the
Yeah, you have
depending on
glamour
the
too. You can just do 7 undefendable with a
yeah.
glamour and a blood power. I mean, that's that's kind of insane. It's like almost a pale lady flipped kind of thing going on.
So
So yeah.
I have Vampire
Oh, we
Lord.
haven't said where she is. Yeah, where you got her?
I probably have her just ahead of Duelist.
I agree.
Yeah, probably like right. I would say high B.
I
Um,
like that.
as much as I love my boy the Duelist, I probably have the Vampire Lord. Just maybe even just hit, I think Rogue and Vampire Lord are virtually in the same spot here. So
Yeah, that's fair. I think that Carnix has her a little bit lower rated than she should be. I think she has some
yeah,
options. So I think Carnix would probably put her like bottom C, which is kind of disrespectful. I like B.
and
I like
Carnix
mid
too as
B.
well. Like you got to imagine some user error, right, and things like that,
For
right? So
sure.
it's like
Yeah. Like if there are 100 games on a character, you can't trust the stats. But something like a
right,
Black Widow that has 6,000 games, all sort of player skill is going to be diluted out of that. For example, if a character has a million games played, you are
you're gonna
looking
know.
at the raw strength of that character.
Yeah,
Everything else has been diluted out. There's no reason to think about luck
yeah.
or player skill with a million games.
Which
So,
you can kind
but
of see in this top 10. Yeah,
for
with
example, Duelist only has 1,100 games, which sounds like a lot, but really, in the grand scheme of things, with Black Widow having 6x that, eh,
right.
it's not a lot. So
Well, and Duelist has
there's
1,100 games,
some
probably
wiggle
into
room.
the best heroes, probably piloted by 400 different people, all
Yeah,
playing them for the first or second time, right? So it's like it'll
yeah,
it'll flesh itself out as we get there. But
for sure. So yeah, I yeah, I mean, well, Carnix is a reference. You can't completely trust it. It's the best reference we have so far, but it's not perfect. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna agree with you.
All
I
right.
like Vampire Lord and B.
Hot take
Your turn.
here.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go Scarlet Witch,
Hmm.
and I really like Scarlet Witch. However, I've played a lot of games with her, and sometimes in certain matchups she's absolutely phenomenal play and absolutely amazing. But I just feel like most of the matchups I'm always coming up just short. Always coming up
Yeah.
just short with a card or with a defense or with a hit or whatever. Um, and again, this may be pilot error, user error. I really, really enjoy Scarlet Witch. I don't think I can put her. Part of me
For
has her high
reference,
C,
she
low
is
B.
right next to Vampire Lord as far as win rate. She's literally right next to her.
Yeah, I feel like Vampire Lord is way more flexible and way more just consistent. Um, I have her low B, high C. That's my personal, and that might
Yeah,
just be user error. But
I would have protested if you put her in C. I would have pushed for B.
no,
So
the highest of C's if anything. But
yeah.
yeah, I
I
got her
mean,
about right here.
she's got options. She can do a lot of damage. She's one of those characters that is hyper vulnerable to a what status effects.
Yeah, well,
So
and
that's I don't like those characters.
I would say like she's basically the sole version of a glass cannon in this game, in my opinion, where she can do massive amounts of damage, but she has almost no defense, and she's so susceptible to like counters and status effect removal. Where like if you're uninterrupted, Scarlet Witch is like extremely dangerous. But like if
Yeah.
you have any type of interruption or any type of like luck not go your way, etc., I feel like low B is probably where I'd have her.
I agree. Her defense is not the greatest in the world. She's not mitigating. So yeah, uh, she's a bit of a glass cannon that is
Yeah,
susceptible to a what status effect, similar to a Pyromancer, but I think the Pyro's is much more consistent.
I feel it. All right, we got three more. We can do this.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go for my favorite Sun Elf, strongest in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sun Elf is awful. I'm gonna throw that in F.
F, not
Actually,
even
maybe not.
D.
Is it a D? Is it a
Not
D?
even D. I think
Okay, I
she can
think that
fit in D.
I humorously put her in F, but if I'm honestly genuinely rating her strength, she might be D.
I'd probably have her like maybe it's hard for me to put her ahead of Samurai, and even
Yeah.
I'd probably have her
She's
right here,
understated.
high
Like you said,
D.
like you used before. I like that term. She's understated.
Yeah,
She's understated.
I think she's
So
built for PVE, right? Like if you get a PVE setting
absolutely
where you
with
can
the sun
throw the
mark.
thing on and heal, and
Yeah.
everyone does X, Y, she's really, really strong. But in a PvP competitive environment,
It
don't
just ain't
bring
it.
her. Yeah, don't bring her.
She's not doing it. It's almost like a pale lady that takes longer to flip. It's very hard to get
Yeah,
your
yeah.
sundial all the way up, and then you do your huge, you know, 14 damage attack, which feels great, but then it's kind of hard to get it back to that point
Exactly. Well, and a lot
consistently.
of these characters can just mitigate it or avoid it or half it or
Yeah,
hit you back
yeah.
just as
So
hard. So
yeah,
I agree.
I'm okay with throwing her right there. That's fine. I humorously F, but then I guess realistically we'll throw her in D. That's fine.
Yeah, I think she beats out some of the she beats
Do
out the
do
F
not
tier.
do not make me pick Cyclops. I know nothing. I've not taken the time.
I don't
I can
really
do
know much about Tactician, so I will take
I can do
Cyclops.
tech.
I have played a few games with Cyclops, and just
Mhm.
like with Scarlet Witch, I always feel like with Cyclops, I just can't quite get there. And that may be user error. I may just not be
It
doing
is.
it right. I
Yeah.
know there are some people that are loyalists to Cyclops and they think he's really strong and really good, and he can be really good. He does have the tools, but I think he's just too hard to play.
Yeah,
It's like a
Cyclops
worse version of Doctor
it
Strange, I
so
guess. I don't
how
know.
we rate Cyclops has to depend on how we define what we're rating. I mean, if we're including ease of play, yeah, you might throw him a little lower, but if you're talking about best possible play, strength of the character, he's gotta go higher. I mean, I don't think I'm not some, like, Cyclops glazer just gonna throw him in an S or A, but I think he can deserve a B.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
have played against Cyclopses that have made my life miserable. They draw their entire deck. Everything resolves in 4 seconds, and it's like, what just happened to me? I just got ulted for 28 damage. How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I think yeah, I probably have him right. Yeah, I probably have him low B. like low,
I'm
low
put
B,
yeah.
highest of C's, kind of right in that Doctor Strange area. But
Yeah, I mean, Carnix has him as one of the lowest win rates, but I'm actually going to disagree with Carnix because of ease of use. I
user,
do
yeah,
think
it's
that
user.
I
Yeah.
think it's user. I think that if you took a long time to play hundreds of Cyclops games, maybe not hundreds, maybe dozens of Cyclops games, read the guide, uh, and you know, familiarized yourself with the kit, I think
Yep,
that he has
he's a B.
options. Again, he is the most feast or famine character. If all his leadership cards are in the bottom of the deck, just resign. You know, but
I agree.
if they're all on the top, you can do a lot. You can get your engine going. It's all about revving the engine and knowing what you're doing and knowing what's valuable and making good decisions in the long run. So
I
I would throw him in low
agree
B.
with it. I will let you finish off with Tactician because I have
All right,
literally
Tactician.
played one game with Tactician.
Tactician sounds good. Tactician is another one of the ones where I early on didn't know how to play against it. I was very confused how to beat it. But that's because I didn't really know what I was doing and I wasn't playing very strong characters. Uh, I would say that Tactician is gonna go top C. Top C.
Where
Ah,
mid, behind,
top
in front.
top C. Top. I would put him in front of Mystic. I think that he has more opportunities than Mystic in terms of
Interesting.
economy. Yeah,
Okay.
I keep using this word, but he is also a little bit feast or famine. If you've got your strategize upgrade early, if you got your defensive upgrade early, his defensive upgrade is one of the strongest in the entire game. It's disgusting. Uh, I think that you can have opportunities in pretty much any game to draw your deck, and I'm starting to second guess. I'm gonna leave it to you. What do you think? Where is
I don't play
Tactician going?
Tacticianer enough, so it's hard for me to say it. I always interpreted Tacticianer more of like a PVE kind of hero that just seemed understated and underwhelming in every PvP game I've played. I know there's some loyalists, just like with Cyclops,
Hmm.
that enjoy Tacticianer, but I'd probably have him high C right in this area. But that's again as someone who never really has played him, so I can't speak to it fully, but I feel like this is probably a good spot. High C, low B.
Yeah, it's definitely a scaling character. If you can draw your deck and get the defense upgrade, and you can get strategize and profiteer too, you've got you're getting protects out the wazoo. You're preventing so much damage. You're drawing your deck. You're alting a couple times in a game. You basically have to get a couple alts off in a game to win, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
And he is a character that can do it with what he has for his
Yeah,
equipments
you've
and
also
what he
got
can do.
interdiction. I mean, you've got the large straight upgrade interdiction as the backup ability. You can draw cards and put constrict on. Some characters hate constrict. Some CP starved characters, suffer when you throw
Yeah.
constrict on them. So I think that
Yeah.
he has a lot of options. He's fairly flexible. He just loses to obviously some of the S tier characters that'll burst him
Right.
down. But
I think his
the,
biggest weakness is he loses to the best heroes, but he can
yeah,
compete with most. So
I certainly have some PTSD with this character, trying to beat
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
early on.
I feel it. I
But
feel it. Well,
yeah.
that's the tier list. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. This is virtually about where I would probably have everyone, even the duelist. But yeah, thanks for hopping in and helping out with this, Charlie. I know you play a lot of S and A tiers, so and I agree with pretty much how this list turned out. Also, shout out to Carnex, and shout out to the people that put that together that really helped kind of get this even a little bit more accurate. Although there are some we slightly disagree with because this doesn't take into account user error and things like that. Carnex is an amazing resource, and really cool. So but outside of that, Charlie, any last words?
Yeah, I mean, this tier list looks almost perfect. There's one giant boil of a character right in the
Okay,
middle.
right here. He should be low
Oh yeah,
A.
no, he's got to be above Black Widow. You gotta throw him above Black Widow.
I'm gonna have to change my name to Duelist Glazer. That's
Duelist,
what.
Glazer,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, like, just to wrap up, I think that this tier list is not official. This is not a definitive tier list. Some people are going to disagree. Some people won't have Iceman in S. They'll have him in A. Some people have Forgemaster up in S, Cursed up in S, Thor up in S, Alchemist down a tier. That's that. Some of these are, I think, objective, like Black Widow and Barbarian being an S and F, but some are subjective, and that's just how it goes. Like, for example, I Duelist, I think, deserves probably like a D tier, but
No,
I know that now Undefendable is a Duelist Glazer, so it's going to be in
no
B.
way you would put Duelist in D tier. No
Uh,
way.
all right,
Uh,
bottom C. That's what you get. Final offer. Best I can do is bottom C.
Worse than the moon? No way. No way. Well, all
I
right.
think,
Well,
yeah,
I appreciate everyone for watching. Charlie, thanks for
yeah.
hopping in and helping guide this video and
No problem.
having someone that is seasoned and competitive bouncing the ideas off of and helping build this list. Outside of that, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Give us your hot takes below where we missed, why we missed, and then we'll just correct you. So, I'm just kidding. But thanks for watching,
Yeah.
everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.